Good evening, ladies and gents. I go by the name CSC. I'd like to share with you guys about my story. It goes helping each other. There was a kid named called George. George was about 10 years old. He was very tough at his age. George came from a very poor family. Him and his family lived in a suburb area. George was the only child from his parents. George had to go to the forest to carry some woods and get some agriculture such as yams, mango, coconut, and all that. On his way back home, George saw an old man called Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones was a very popular guy around the neighborhood. Mr. Jones had two bags of loaded bags on his back. He couldn't walk back to it. Mr. Jones was like, and George asked Mr. Jones, Mr. Jones, are you all right? Mr. Jones was like, yes, son, I'm fine. Which is, Mr. Jones was that probably good. And George walked further and went back. Mr. George, Mr. Jones, you sure you're all right? And Mr. Jones was like, yes, son, I'm very all right. And then, does it seem like it? Please, Mr. Jones, don't lie to me. Mr. Jones was like, to be honest, son, I'm very hungry. I've been eating for like days. And Mr. Jones keep walking. And George said to himself, I have a sandwich and a bottle of water. I could sacrifice and give Mr. Jones the sandwich. And George walked up and called Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, here, this is my sandwich. You can have my sandwich. Mr. Jones has this brightly smile on his face. Thank you, son. So whilst George was going further home, carrying his woods on his back, he saw a deer laying down on the floor. George knew that deer was out of water. He was very exhausted, he was thirsty. And George gave the deer his water, his only bottle of water his parents gave to him. Soon as George gave this water to the deer stood up and the deer started walking around. Then George just started walking home. He had his woods on his back. He was struggling also because the wood was very heavy. George accidentally stuck his foot in the hole and just started screaming, help, help, help. And the deer ran to George. The deer couldn't do anything about it. The deer started running around. And Mr. Jones saw a deer running around. And then Mr. Jones was like, oh, that's George. He's in trouble. Mr. Jones had this bag on his back. He was running. Oh, I have to help this kid. He helped him with food. And then Mr. Jones dropped the bag. Well, I forgot about the bag. I'm not going to help this young man. Mr. Jones saw George. Just was like, please help me, sir. We're like, sure, why not? And Mr. Jones was like, give me your hands. And then Mr. Jones gave, George gave Mr. Jones his hands and struggled to put it back up. Whilst George was up, he was like, thank you very much, sir. I am very thank you. And then George carried the woods on his back. George's foot was hurting. And then George was walking about 5 miles away from his house. So as soon as George got back home, his parent was like, oh son, you took too long. And George was like, yes mom, I was helping Mr. Jones, I was helping the deer. Mr. Jones had nothing to eat. And then he had a bag of load on his backpack. So he was struggling. And I had to help this guy with the water. I'm like, okay, that's good for you, son. I told you, be very humble, be very kind to each and other. Finally, George was like, I'm very thankful because Mr. Jones was such a young and great man in this area. He lost his wife, he lost his family. He's the only one being around here, so he had no place to stay, no shelter. Whilst George was sleeping, he had a very good dream about his future. So the moral of the story is, be helpful to each and everybody. Be very humble, be very kind. You never know what's happening in your future. Thank you for your audience. Thank you very much.